Hmm? And Kingfisher? No, Kingfisher. Hey Darren, thanks for joining. Hey Darren, thanks for joining. Hey Darren, thanks for joining.
You can see the top of your head. Do you want to roll it? Top of your head there. Come on, back more.
Probably. Okay, 6 o'clock. We'll go ahead and get started. We will be using a strap and a block. A strap will be optional toward the end of class. Blocks are always optional. We're going to be entering into Warrior 3 during class, so if you want Warrior 3 assistance with the block, sometimes blocks are good for when we enter into our pyramid pose. So if you want to grab a block or two and a strap, also it sounds funny, but if you don't have straps or a block, you can grab a belt for a strap, and rolls of toilet paper actually work really well if you don't have blocks. So if you want those props, go ahead and grab them. Otherwise, everybody can get started on their backs, just starting to come into your space. Getting comfortable, in a comfortable position, somewhere that you think you can be for, I don't know, 5 minutes or so. So at the beginning of practice, this is what we call our centering or grounding. And it's a time for us just to find ourselves in the present moment. So we're not anticipating what's going to come, we're not worrying about it, we're not thinking about anything that happened during the day that might have stressed us out, that might be kind of hanging on in our brain. So we're just going to go ahead ahead and come into our space and start with some breathing, just natural breaths in and out. So just letting the breath naturally flow in and out. If we're having a little trouble settling in, making sure the eyes are closed, just feeling how your body is meeting the mat, almost feeling like Mother Earth is holding you. And we'll just stay here for another minute or so on our backs, just focusing on the breath. Sometimes it helps to make the breath audible. If we can inhale through the nose and an audible exhale. And imagining this sense of community. So usually we're in a room together and we're close by and we can hear our neighbors on their mats breathing. We can see them as we practice, and we feel like we're a part of this community. Even though yoga is an individual practice, being together makes us feel like a community. And so today, I invite you just to focus on, just kind of internalize how this community feels to you. Because we are apart. We're not together as we normally are in the same space, but we're still practicing together as a community. We're still supporting each other. Times are kind of tough right now. They're uncertain. Things are different for us. We're trying to find a new normal, even though it's going to be temporary. And so this sense of community that we're providing for each other helps to maybe provide a little bit of comfort and a little bit of safety. So imagining that positive energy that we're all sending out into the universe, practicing together. And then I ask, let's take one nice big inhale and exhale as a community. So taking a nice big inhale, filling up as much as you possibly can, all the way, the chest, the ribs, the belly, filling it all the way up. And releasing it with an audible exhale. And this is a great time within our practice to go ahead and set an intention. So an intention can be something, anything positive. It can be a place, a person, it can be a feeling, it can be a word, a virtue, anything. But I invite you to envision something in your brain that makes you feel calm and serene and safe. And just hold the thought of that, whatever it is. And then take in a nice big inhale and an audible exhale. And this place of calm and serenity and safeness is not something just to focus on during your practice today, but something to focus on any time that things might feel uncertain, any times that you might be feeling stressed out or anxious. Just think about this positive, serene, calm place that's always with you. You just have to tap into it. So starting with just some natural, very gentle movement. So maybe starting with just turning the wrists and the ankles, maybe rocking the head back and forth gently on the mat. And I invite you now to bring the bottoms of the feet flat onto the mat. And just start with bringing the right knee into the chest. And actually it doesn't matter whichever one you want to do, right or left. And just give it a gentle squeeze as you're lying on your back. And then just gently pull that knee over toward the armpit on the same side of the body. So if you're on the right, pulling the right knee over toward the right armpit. And then releasing that leg, letting it go, and gently bringing the other knee in toward the chest, giving it a gentle squeeze. And then gently bringing that knee over toward the armpit on the same side. And then sending both legs nice and long. Bringing the arms up overhead so we have a nice long full body stretch. Taking in a nice big inhale. And let it go. And then we're just gently gonna walk the feet over toward the right side of the mat. And walking the hands over to the right side of the mat. We're in a banana stretch right now. So we're stretching the left side body. And then walking toward the middle. So hands and legs long, but toward the middle of the mat. And then taking them off to the left. So now we have a side body stretch on the right. And then coming back to center and bringing the legs up so that the shins are parallel with the mat. And the fingertips are pointing up toward the sky. And we're just going to start with leaving the fingertips pointing toward the sky and then lengthening, so straightening the right leg, dipping it down, bringing it back up, and then the left leg, dipping it down so that the heel touches the mat, coming back up. And just start with those alternating movements, right, then left. And now adding the arms, we're going to move into dead bugs. So it's going to be opposite. And I always confuse myself on this. So when we have the right leg up, we send the left leg long and the right arm long. And then we come up. And then we send the right leg long, left arm long, and come up. Now if you want to start working the abs right away, as you're alternating through, maybe lift the head and the shoulders off of the mat. Now you're engaging the abs here. We're slowly warming up some joints, some muscles, taking just maybe one more on each side. And then releasing down, bringing the bottoms of the feet to the mat. Then taking a nice long full body stretch. Nice big inhale. And on the exhale, coming in, giving the knees a gentle squeeze. Then maybe rocking and rolling up. However you want to get there, finding your way to tabletop. Ooh, knee cracks. So from our tabletop here, we have shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. and making our way into our cat-cows. So before we start with cat-cows, we're gonna start with a nice neutral spine. So it's almost like we have a string that's pulling on the top of our head, and we can feel that nice long spine all the way from the base of the neck through the tailbone. So nice and neutral, nice and long. On the inhale, moving to cow, so the belly heads toward the mat, gaze comes forward. Exhaling to cat, so just like a scared cat, spine up toward the sky, pushing through the hands, feeling a nice stretch through the shoulder area. Inhaling to cow, exhaling to cat. So moving back and forth between these two movements, we're just getting warmed up here. And dependent upon how your body feels today, maybe taking something different, like some side to sides, or maybe some hip rolls. But just whatever feels good in your body right now, just moving around a little bit, warming up the spine. This also helps to warm up the shoulders and the hips, the wrists. And then coming to stillness in our tabletop, tucking the toes under, pushing through the toes, coming up, finding our first downward facing dog. So in your downward facing dog, maybe playing with your hand placement a little bit to see what helps you feel the most stable and the most safe. What feels good in your shoulders? Maybe it's the hands are a little closer together, maybe they're further apart. Maybe the fingertips are pointing out a little bit rather than straight forward. Same thing with the feet. Do they feel close together? Does that feel better? Or a little further apart? But finding that spot for you, and then working to bring the ears between your biceps. Feeling that nice stretch. Bending the knees, sending the heels toward the mat, organically sends that tailbone right up toward the sky. Woo. Nice big inhale as we look forward, walk up to the top of the mat. Finding our forward fold for a moment here. Inhale, halfway lift. Pausing here. In our halfway lift, nice neutral back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. One more. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach up, rise up. Exhale, hands to heart center. So when we find hands to heart center, when we find our Tadasana, here or here, it's a position that allows us to come back to center, refocus, rebalance, kind of shake off whatever happened before, and just come back to the present moment. Good time to revisit your intention. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands plant, feet step back into high plank or knees, wherever you're most comfortable. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, knees, chest, then chin meet the mat. Inhale, heart shines forward to cobra. Exhale, heart meets the mat, pushing back, downward facing dog. Looking forward, stepping up. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach up, rise up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands plant. Feet step back to high plank. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, lower all the way down. Inhale, heart shines forward. Exhale, heart meets the mat. Pushing back, downward facing dog. Looking forward, stepping up. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands plant. Feet step back to high plank. Inhale to prepare, lowering all the way down, or chaturanga arms halfway. Inhale, heart shines forward to cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bending the knees, looking forward, stepping up. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach up, rise up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Feeling good? All right. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands plant. Left foot steps back. Left knee meets the mat. We're going to find our version of low lunge. So in our version, hands can either stay at the mat, maybe coming to the knee, maybe floating up overhead. But now we're going to play a little bit with what feels best in our body through the legs. So sometimes we might think that you get the best stretch by really coming forward and pulling forward through that left hip area here, but I want to challenge you to try something. So try that one. Stretch out as far as you can first. So we've got the knee over the ankle. But then come back a little bit, knee over ankle. Float those arms up overhead and just engage the muscles. So we're pulling that right hip back, left hip forward. We're engaging. Can you feel how that engages the hamstring? How it engages the quad? Your abs are engaged, the glutes are engaged. You got muscles firing up all over the place, yes? Continue to breathe. Nice big inhale as we reach. Exhale, hands come down, frame that right foot. Right foot steps back, finding downward facing dog. So pausing here for just a moment. This time bringing the left leg forward. Right knee meets the mat, finding our version of low lunge here. So same thing, maybe feeling that long stretch first, and then maybe backing it up a little bit. Woo! Engaging those muscles. And softening the shoulders here, so we're not wearing them up here, but we're releasing them down. Nice big inhale. Exhale, hands come down, frame that left foot steps back to high plank. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, lowering all the way down or halfway. Inhale to cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Looking forward to the hands, stepping the right foot up, turning our left toes or turning our left foot, setting ourselves up for warrior one. So arms float. So in our warrior one, we want both of our hips facing the front of the mat. So if heel to heel alignment doesn't allow us to get there, go ahead and step that left foot out a little bit. Helps us to straighten those hips. Maybe walking the toes out a little bit for a longer stance. Maybe taking a peek down, seeing if you've got your blocks or toilet paper or baby wipes or whatever you're going to use for a block handy. Take a nice big inhale and reach. And on the exhale, coming down, framing that right foot, and then straightening that right leg. We're going to start making our way into pyramid pose. So that front leg is straight. Hands are either on our blocks or on the mat. And we're working to pull that right hip back and the left hip forward. That's if your right leg is forward. And then if it's comfortable for you, maybe starting to melt the chest down toward the knee and then bringing the nose toward the knee. Now where you want to feel a stretch is through that right hamstring, the right hamstring. That's where we're going to want to feel it here. Making sure to breathe. Don't hold your breath. Looking forward, bringing the chest up, bending that front leg, arms float, finding our warrior one. Inhale as we do maybe a baby back bend. Exhale, hands come down, frame that right foot, bringing the left foot back a little bit, left hand plants, right arm floats open into a twisted lunge. Now right hand can stay pointing upward or turning the thumb down, bringing the hand to the base of the back here. Sometimes longer levers don't feel as good to our bodies. Bringing the right hand down, framing that right foot, stepping the right foot back, taking a flow if you wish, or a child's pose. Either one is always acceptable. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. Looking forward, stepping that left foot up, adjusting the right foot, finding our warrior one on this side. So nice strong stance in our warrior. Think about warriors, how they're tall and proud. So nice and tall, legs are strong, rolling those pinkies in and just relaxing those shoulders. Nice big inhale. Exhale, coming down, framing that left foot, starting to straighten that left leg, bringing that left hip back, right hip forward this time. Maybe melting the chest over the leg, and then bringing the nose toward the knee. Lifting up, looking forward, bending that front leg, Arms float up, finding our warrior one. Exhale, hands come down, turning those right toes, planting the right hand, opening up through the left side body, finding that twisted lunge on this side. So same thing with the hand. Longer lever might feel good. If not, going ahead, bringing the hand to the lower back. Either way, we're working to stack shoulder over shoulder. Bringing the left hand down, framing that left foot. Left foot steps back, taking a flow or a child's pose, whatever you need. Meeting in downward facing dog. Looking forward, stepping up to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach up, rise up. Exhale, finding our first chair for this practice. So in chair, all of the hinging is coming through the knees and the hips. So that's what's getting us nice and low. Tailbone is pointing toward the back of the mat, and we have a nice neutral spine, not hyperextending. If you're feeling any pinching or pain in that lower back, check to make sure your spine is neutral. And maybe just release out of the pose a little bit. You don't have to sit so low. Doesn't matter how low you sit. If you're feeling that lower body firing up, you're right where you need to be. Taking a peek down, making sure we can see our toes, giving them a little wiggle maybe. Nice big inhale here. Lowering down a little bit more, bringing the right elbow to the left knee. Woo. Feeling the legs. Another inhale here. Exhale, coming back to center, grounding through that right foot, stair-stepping the left. We're gonna find tree pose. So opening up through the hip, landing that foot wherever is comfortable for you. Maybe it's kickstand, maybe it's on the inside of the shin, maybe it's in your practice to have it on the inside of the thigh, but whatever works for you, finding your tree. So in our tree, our trunk is nice and straight. We want our spine nice and straight, tailbone tucked under, heart is shining forward, nice and tall. So let's start with growing some branches. Might be down here, maybe up here, but just for a moment, growing those branches. Taking a nice big inhale, and then on the exhale, bringing them down, interlacing the fingers behind the back, straightening the arms. Opening up the shoulders, heart shines forward, and then for a little added difficulty, challenge, maybe sending the gaze up toward the sky. So drawing an imaginary line across the sky. Woo. Now it's challenging here to keep the integrity of your pose and challenge yourself in this way. Bringing the gaze back to center, releasing the grip, sending the arms up overhead, finding those tree arms again, bringing the left leg forward, and then stepping back, finding our high crescent lunge. Whew. So we're up tall on those left toes. Arms are shining forward, or up I should say, heart is shining forward. Soften those shoulders. Taking a nice big inhale as we look up toward the sky. Exhale, hands come down, frame that right foot steps back, taking a flow or a child's pose, whatever you need. From downward facing dog, looking forward, stepping or hopping up. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach up, rise up. Exhale, hands to heart center, finding that chair again. So kind of taking inventory here. Nice neutral spine, wiggling those toes so we're not digging in. We have all of the weight or most of the weight in our heels. And sinking a little bit deeper, this time left elbow to the right knee for our twisted chair. So working again, shoulder stacked over shoulder. It helps to push the palms together, helps to facilitate a little bit more of a twist. And a nice big inhale, exhale, coming to center. And this time pushing through the opposite leg, stair stepping, and finding your tree leg wherever that is comfortable for you. Might be different on this side. Every practice is different, each side is different. Maybe just trying something different. So taking inventory again, spine is nice and tall, tailbone tucked under, maybe growing the branches for a moment. Bringing the arms down on the next inhale, interlacing the fingers, opening the heart. Arms are straight or not. Wherever you're comfortable is right where you need to be. These are just suggestions. So now for that little added difficulty, maybe drawing that line across the sky and feeling how that changes maybe the way you want to lean into one side or the other, or you start bending your back. So keeping the integrity of the pose. I love how Carla uses that phrase all the time. I love it. So keeping the integrity. And if we start losing the integrity of the pose, then backing off of it a little bit, especially if you're feeling pain. So bringing the gaze back to the back forward, arms rise up overhead, right leg or the other leg, whichever one you are not standing on, it comes forward, and then we step back and find our high crescent lunge. So we're up on those toes. Nice, another proud warrior position. Nice big inhale as we reach. And on the exhale, just softening those shoulders. And then bringing the hands down to frame that left foot. Left foot steps back. Taking a flow or a child's pose. From downward facing dog, right leg raises up behind, three-legged dog. Bringing the right foot through, finding our warrior one. So adjusting that right foot, arms float. Now we're not gonna stay here real long, but just take a peek. We're gonna go into warrior three. So if you want your block, have that handy at the front of the mat. So from warrior one, couple of options, either bringing prayer hands to heart center or launching off, finding your warrior three. So both hips are working to stay pointing toward the floor. Hands can be on the hips, heart center, or maybe coming forward to form that T. Taking another breath here. This is where your block comes in handy. We're going to rotate through that right hip, finding our balancing half moon. So right hand comes down, left hand goes up. Woo. Left leg is back, flexing that left foot, almost like you're stamping the wall behind you. So heart is shining to the side. I can't use the side because I don't know what you're facing, but hips, chest, gaze, everything is facing the same side. Taking another breath here, and then lowering that left leg, we're finding our warrior two. Warrior two feels like a resting pose after that, huh? Yeah, it does. So maybe walking those right toes forward a little bit. We want to find a stance that we're comfortable in, but that's challenging us a little bit. So gaze is over those right fingertips. Ooh. Turning all 10 toes the same way. Turning the heels in. Coming up onto our toes, raising the arms, finding our star pose. Now from star pose, we're gonna lower the heels, come down to goddess. Exhale here, inhale, raising up to star. Nice and tall, straight spine. Exhale, lowering the heels, coming down to goddess, pause here. Inhale up. Finding star, exhale down, finding that goddess. Every one of you is a goddess, man, woman, or child. Inhale up, nice and tall. Exhale, lowering to goddess. One more time, inhale up. And turning to the back of your mat, finding your warrior one here. So adjusting that right foot, finding that nice tall stance, maybe taking a break, grabbing your block. From warrior one, you know where we're going, warrior three. Nice big inhale, and on the exhale, finding your version of warrior three. Now warrior three doesn't have to be this. It can be this, or this, or this. So whatever your warrior three is, paying attention to your body and doing what feels good for your body. Maybe challenging it a little bit. Nothing wrong with a good challenge. Now from our warrior three, we're going to start to rotate through that left hip. And you might wibble wobble. That's okay. Means you're challenging yourself. This time that right foot is stamping the back of the room or front of the room or whatever side of the room. Left arm is down, right hand up. Woo. Chest, hips, gaze, all facing the same way. This is challenging. Good job, folks. I can feel your energy. You're giving it all you got. Love it, love it. One more breath here. This side's more challenging for me. And then we're gonna find our warrior two. So stepping down, finding our warrior two. Nice long stance, something that's challenging. Gazes over those left fingertips. Taking in a nice big inhale, rolling those shoulders up, And then releasing them down. Feel those shoulder blades just roll down the back. Exhale. Inhale up, back to that star pose. Bringing the heels in, coming up to our toes. Exhale, goddess. Pause. Yep. Wiggling the toes. So we have most of that weight in our heels. Nice and straight up, so tucking that tailbone under. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Raising up, reach to that star pose. Warrior 2 to the front of your mat. Cartwheeling the hands down, taking a flow if you wish, or a child's pose, either one. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. This time, walking the hands back to the back of the mat. Toe heeling the feet out to the outer edges of the mat. Bringing prayer hands to heart center. Lowering the bum, finding our Malasana squat. So feeling a nice stretch through the inner legs, here the inner thighs. Maybe rocking back and forth, side to side. And as you do that, maybe contemplating if you want to try crow. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint here for trying crow. A couple things that really helped me when I was first trying to learn it is making sure your fingers are spread wide, because it gives you a good platform. The other thing that helped was to have something right in front of my head, because otherwise I kind of felt like I was going to go down and bump my forehead, which I've done more than a few times. So it just helps to kind of provide that sense of security. So bringing the feet in a little bit further from your Malasana squat. And then you want to bring the knees in toward the armpits, because we're going to be pushing into our tricep area. So fingers are nice and wide, and we're going to start to rock forward. And keeping the gaze forward, because if we put the gaze down this way, chances are we might do a somersault, which is great, but we don't really want to do that right now. So, keeping the gaze forward, starting to rock forward, pushing the knees into the triceps, maybe starting with lifting one foot, and maybe lifting two. And just giving that a try for a couple of breaths. Playing with it a little bit. And then as you're ready, we will go ahead, place the hands on the mat, send our hips up toward the sky, and find our forward fold. So you might feel quite a bit of tension through the shoulder area if you took a few rounds of crow. So take the hands and grasp opposite elbows and just let yourself hang here for a little bit. Release some of that tension, maybe rock side to side. And then releasing the hands to the mat. Stepping the feet back, finding your downward facing dog. Nice big inhale as a community. Exhale. Looking forward to the top of the mat, stepping forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, grounding through the feet. Inhale, reach up, rise up, stepping the left foot back, warrior two. Now I end just about every practice with the same sequence because I love it. And I hope you do too, because a lot of you have seen it a lot. So from your warrior two, gazes over those right fingertips. Flipping that front palm, inhale, coming back, reverse warrior. So in your reverse warrior, kind of playing with what feels best on your neck. Sometimes having the gaze up doesn't feel the best. Sometimes back toward the back foot, and bringing the arm in toward the lower back sometimes helps release some of that too. Just making sure we keep that heart open and we're not hinging forward. Inhale, exhale, extended side angle. So let's start with right elbow on right knee. Staying here, or maybe we have a block. Maybe, if you're familiar with this pose, trying something a little different, can float that right arm, bring it to the floor, maybe bring it forward, bring the other one to meet it. This is challenging because, again, we want to keep that heart open, right? And it's challenging to do that when we're stretching. Now notice, again, keeping the integrity of the pose, when we're here, we feel that nice long line from fingertips all the way to the back of that foot. When we start changing things, sometimes we lose that integrity. So keeping being mindful of how that body feels. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale. Inhale, flip the palms, straighten that front leg, reach up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale up. Turning all toes toward the front. And then we're finding our warrior two toward the back of the mat. Now you might be feeling your shoulders a little bit here. And if you are, keep in mind that you can use different poses, or I should say different, I'm thinking of something else. You can use different options as far as where to put your hands. Maybe walking those left toes out a little further. Flipping that front palm, finding our reverse warrior on this side. Nice big inhale. Exhale, extended side angle. So starting with the elbow on the knee. Really taking inventory on how this pose feels. We have the knee lined up with the ankle. Nice long line, fingertips all the way to the outer edge of that right foot. And then maybe trying something a little different. Can you breathe while you're doing it? Make sure you can breathe. We hold poses, not our breath. Inhale, finding our warrior two. Exhale as we release those shoulder blades down the back, maybe sinking in a little deeper. Flipping the palms. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, one more time. Inhale up, turning all of your toes to face the side. Coming back, warrior two, toward the front of the mat. Cartwheeling the hands down, framing that right foot, taking your last flow of this practice or finding child's pose. If you're taking a flow, we will meet in child's pose. So meeting in child's pose, taking a nice big inhale as a community. Audible exhale. Looking forward to the hands, coming up to the knees, and then adjusting ourselves to come to our bellies. So we're going to take just one round of locust. And there's a few different options. One is to have a block in front of you and pressing the block between the hands, and we'll lift up that way. Otherwise, palms are down on either side of the body and we'll lift up, or clasping the hands behind the bum. So whatever option you want to take. We'll start with our chin on the mat and taking a nice big inhale. And on the exhale, we'll float the head up, the shoulders, the arms, wherever you have your arms, and the feet, maybe the knees come up off of the mat. Dialing into that lower back. If you're feeling pain, back off of it a little bit. We also want to make sure that we aren't squeezing the bum so hard that it's adding to that back tension. Our back muscles are doing a lot of work here. So if you feel like you're really pinching through the bum, release a little bit of that. Let some other muscles do the work. One more nice big inhale here. Exhale, lowering down and allowing those back muscles to release before rocking those hips back and forth. Bringing the hands under the shoulders, pushing back, and then making our way to a seat. We're going to take a few, well, not a few rounds. We're going to take a version of boat. So in boat, hands might be here, here, behind the thighs. You have all kinds of options. Toes might be on the mat, maybe they're up here, maybe one. But what we're going to work toward, wherever you are, is to keep one leg raised and lower the other, so that's just above the floor. So it might look like this, might look like this, but what we want to make sure that we're doing is zipping up the ab muscles, and our back is nice and straight, and our heart is shining forward. So taking the movement nice and slow, so you are feeling those ab muscles work, yes? Really zipping up those abs. Just a couple more here. How about one on each side? Got it? Okay, we got this. We got it. And holding at the top, wherever that is for you, for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bringing the bottoms of the feet to the mat, hugging those knees in gently, and then lowering all the way down to your back. We're going to take a round of bridge. And again, a few different options for you. So coming to your back, bringing the heels in toward the bum. Maybe one option, taking a block, bringing it between the thighs. Another option, you can layer some of these options too. Fingertips are up toward the sky, or they can be down on either side of the body. Taking a nice big inhale, and on the exhale, pushing through the heels, sending the hips up toward the sky. Now, keeping in mind, if you have the block between the thighs, we're squeezing. And if we have any points of contact off of the mat, it adds a little bit more difficulty. So hands raised, maybe heels raised, but wherever you are, primary focus here is keeping those hips raised up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lowering all the way down. Again, like with locust, letting those back muscles release before we rock those hips back and forth. Next, entering into an inversion of your choice. So it might be happy baby, or maybe my newest favorite is doing legs up the wall. But I like to grab my toes, kind of like and a big toe pose. And I like to straighten my legs and pull on my toes. I don't know, feels great. Maybe you want to give it a whirl. If you have a strap, the other thing you can do is bring the strap along the big toe mounds and just give a gentle pull. And then as you're ready, we're going to make our way to our twist. So coming to your back, bringing the left foot, the bottom of the left foot to the mat, crossing the right leg over the left, bringing the arms out to either side, so to a T, and then lowering the bottom of that right foot to the floor. Now it may get there, it may not. Blocks are always handy, brings the floor a little closer, and then taking the gaze off to the right. Staying here for another breath, and then taking the twist off to the other side. And in your twist, maybe revisiting that safe place, that happy place, that place of contentment, just for a moment, before finding your final resting pose for this practice, which is Shavasana. And I apologize for running a little over, but I hope that you can stay with us and take your Shavasana. And don't worry about keeping track. I will let you know when it's time to awaken, and we will close class. So clear your mind, rest your body. Shavasana is a time for the mind and the body to be at rest. Starting to bring some gentle movement back into the body by maybe rotating the wrists and the ankles, gently moving the head side to side. You're welcome to stay here as we conclude practice, or if you would like to meet me in seated, you may do that as well. If you're in seated, either taking the palms and facing them up to help absorb energy, invite energy in, or bringing prayer hands to heart center. I leave you with a couple of quotes by Amit Ray and Charlie Ebersol. If you want to conquer the anxiety of life, live in the moment, live in the breath. As long as you're centering back to home base, and that's the strongest magnet in your life, then everything else is okay. So I invite you to find your happy place this week and ongoing in the weeks to come. Find that place of peace and serenity, that place that makes you feel safe. Finding it at any time that you need it. With much gratitude and respect to each and every one of you for coming forward and being a part of this community tonight, I bow to you and say the word that to me means the inner light in me sees and honors the inner light in each and every one of you. Again, with much gratitude and much respect, I bow to you and say, Namaste. Thank you so much for being here. I realized as we got started, I never did introduce myself. My name is Mary Benish. I am a substitute teacher for Kingfisher Yoga, and I'm so grateful to Carla for inviting me to be a part of teaching these online classes, because all we want to do is bring yoga to you when you can't come to yoga. So have a great week, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Bye.